Hi, I'm Valencia, and I'm what they call Gen Z. Although saying that out loud, I have to admit is kind of cringe. I grew up in the early 2000s. Growing up, my house had physical photo albums and cassette players with Konkani music on it. I would wake up to the 60s Goan music that my parents would play on their cassette player and watch cartoons like Tom and Jerry or the Flintstones on my tiny box television. When I was a teenager, I had a phone with buttons. Hanging out with friends was much simpler. A 3 word text would suffice, because it took forever to type it out. Or you could just stand below their building and yell out their name. That works too. Is it senile of me to reminisce on something that happened just a little over a decade ago? I used to go out to play until the age of 15. Very unlike the 15-year-olds these days. My 13-year-old cousin thinks she's the coolest, but no one can compare what being a teen was like when Wizards of Waverly Place was on air. The button phones back then had no apps, besides Tetris or the Snake game. So I did have a phone at 14. It just didn't have a complex algorithm to keep me constantly engaged, so I would get bored and go down to play. We did have the internet, but it used to be a place where we would go to escape. It was literally a place. The cyber cafe. Before Wi-Fi was accessible to the average Indian in 2014, there were these internet rooms where we'd go and spend like 10 rupees for an hour of using a computer with the internet. I would log in to see what my classmates are up to on Facebook and also chat with my crush. But now the internet is a place where we perpetually live. And we go on a freaking hike or camp and call it logging off. It was supposed to be the other way around. When I was a teenager, I was 3 shades darker than I am now because of how much time I would spend outside. And I wasn't insecure of it at all. When I was in 7th grade, I built a tree house on top of my building watchman uncle's shack. How many kids would do something bad shit like that now? And when I got my first period, I thought it was an injury from the day before because I had climbed a glass sharded wall to jump on the other side of the building. Even the technology of our time was so iconic. iPods, a device dedicated solely for music. Flip phones, the virtual equivalent of slamming the door shut on someone who's pissing you off. Everything was so cool and different. Now everything's bland and minimalist. Do you guys remember there used to be slides and ball pits in McDonald's? I'm sure you don't. The first time I watched an American series was when I was 12, and it was Friends. My friend bought a CD of the first season for me from outside a railway station. That was a season of Friends that I owned. I watched all these movies when I was a kid, and I really thought that being a creative person was gonna be the coolest thing as an adult. Working at a magazine, being a writer, an artist, a photographer, having the time of your life. Well, my life. I'm all of those things and I still can't get a cool job like that because they don't exist anymore. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a sick simulation with how NPC everyone's reaction has been. I feel like I'm in the movie Wall-E and everybody's like these axiom people. You know what I'm talking about? When I was in school, I was taught that the world out there was going to be a wonderful place. I grew up listening to Heal the World by Michael Jackson being played at my school. You know what world I was imagining? I'll tell you, it sure as hell was not this one. There is a reason why Y2K is an aesthetic and Y2K26 is not. Hi guys. I know I've been AWOL for a minute. It's a difficult time being alive as someone with any sense of morality or ethics. But I did motivate myself to make this. So I'm planning to start on Instagram. I've already started it. If you guys want to follow me on there, I'm gonna be posting a bunch of things on there. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. Okay, bye. See you in the next